Expressions of
How much does your individual freedom matter to you? What does it mean to you that you be left alone, that you be free? Not to cause harm, not to cause disturbance and destruction on mass scales or large scales, but to be free, to be yourself, right? Very, very simple, reasonably, and understandably. How much importance does your personal freedom get from you? This is a relevant question because as I was waking up and, like everyone else, reaching for my phone, going to social media, and seeing what was there, I came across the story of the 21-year-old couple in Iran that was just, jailed, caged. That's the word I was looking for. That was just caged and sentenced to 10 years in a cage because their video of themselves dancing together, romantically dancing together, very innocently, romantically, lovingly, sort of twirling together. And, he picks her up and her hair swings and she's not wearing a hijab, she's not wearing a headscarf, which is against the rules, and they were dancing in front of a well-known landmark. This couple was, filming themselves dancing. They posted it on Facebook or on, somewhere on social media, and the video happened to go viral because the law is against these things. And as soon as their video went viral, they were both arrested, and the judge sentenced them to 10 years apiece, 10 years and like some months each in a cage. And now, while this story is not necessarily in and of itself super newsworthy, as many of you already know that Iran is going through pretty much just as many protests as China right now. For different reasons. They're for the same big umbrella reason, which is their ruling class is and has been severely stripping away human rights from the people in these regions of the world. In China, you're either starving or in super duper quarantine or, just sort of being abused by people in hazmat suits. And in Iran, especially for the women, if you're caught outside without a headscarf, if you're dancing and you're a woman, then you could be put in a cage for 10 years of your life. Right? A lot happens in 3 months. You're sitting in a cage for a decade. You're not the same person when you come out. The reason why this is a significant story for me to cover here on the Expression of Love podcast is because of the comment section. You see, I have a problem with patriots who are completely lost in their patriotism. I have a problem with people who give too much credence and importance to the concept of borders and who perpetuate the illusion that language barriers and arbitrary borders and borderlines of countries actually separates human beings. in some sort of metaphysical way that grants human beings over here actual God-given rights, more so or less so than people over here in these borderlines with this language and culture, right? Just because your language and culture is different over here, you have more God-given rights than over here. You understand? And I have a problem with that because that doesn't make sense. It's very cold-hearted and arrogant, right? The one of the comments under the how I came across this on social media, it was a basically a picture showing the couple in a freeze frame from when they were dancing, and under the freeze frame it said couple jailed for 10 years for dancing. It didn't say Iran. It didn't say, it didn't have any sort of details. It just had the bottom just had couple jailed for 10 years for dancing in the street, something like that. And someone, well, a bunch of people took to the comments and said they knew the rules. They knew the rules. They knew that you're not supposed to dance in the street and not wear a hijab outside if you're a woman and not dance at all if you're a woman in this country. They knew the rules. They decided to break them. They should be caged. How utterly despicable. And others, one person asked, why didn't you say or show that this was not in America, in the meme? Why does it just say couple jailed for 10 years and such and such? Why give the image that this could happen to us when it never could happen to us? Is essentially what they were asking. And the point is, yes, it could. Right? Don't forget, they just ran an experiment with vaccine passports that could enormously hinder one's freedom. Not only can you not leave the country, but you can't go to certain restaurants. You can't damn near leave your house without a freedom paper.
This is where you've seen in Florida and Texas, where the governors have come out strongly and banned businesses or tried to ban businesses from mandating this, is that they believe it's kind of stealing someone's individual freedom because they're saying, oh, you have to have this passport in order to shop in this store or, go to this sporting event.
Okay. And a freedom paper on you choosing whether or not you want to put poisons into your body, into your blood that will remain for the rest of your life. Okay. This being jailed for dancing in the street is very much something that can and will happen in the United States if we don't get our own act together and if we don't start telling the truth about morality, the truth about behavior, and the truth about God. Okay? And I don't mean to say that I have some sort of authority on the truth about God or something like that. I just mean collectively, we need to get our act together in our minds, in our words, and in our actions, and in our feelings, in our emotions as well. And so I replied to one of the comments, asking why it's not showing that it was Iran, why, is it like that? And I said, well, there's a simple reason, which is that this is a human rights issue. Human rights are not granted by other humans. Human rights are granted by the creator of humans. Okay, so the creator of the universe, even existence, the creator of existence itself, that creator, okay, is who grants human rights. And this issue of being thrown in a cage and abused and all of the things that go along with being jailed for 10 years, okay, for dancing in the street is a human rights issue. It's a violation, an egregious violation of freedoms. And so I said it's a very simple reason. One is because this is a human rights issue. And then I said some more words, and I pointed out that the language barriers and arbitrary borders do not really separate us. This happening to anybody, is this happening to me? And I think that was the point of omitting the fact that this was Iran in the picture, in the sort of the clickbait picture, right? Is to give the impression this could be you, because that's true. It could, and very soon. So what to make of this? Well, for one, it's a good idea to look at stories like this and examine how okay you are, right, with the egregious violation of anyone's human rights, no matter how far away in distance they are from you, right? How complacent and complicit you are with wrongdoing, with past a certain threshold of wrongdoing, like heinous wrongdoing, like this torture of, oh, you want to dance out in the street? Okay, we're going to throw you in a cage for 10 years and abuse you all of those 10 years for dancing in the street with your significant other. Okay, take a moment to introspectively examine how okay you are with human beings doing this to other human beings. Okay, and it is being done to them by other human beings. It's not a system that's doing that. It's not the religion that's doing that. It's not the law that's doing that. These are human beings carrying out orders. How okay am I with that? And then if I'm not okay with that, obviously we're not going to go to Iran and directly do something about it. We're not going to necessarily write letters to the judge and say, you're wrong for your decision. But what to do about my own thinking in regard to violations of human rights? And how far does the human rights violation phenomenon go? Like, how close to home is it? Right? How possible is it for something like this to happen to me? And you should pick up some books and you should learn about the way that the psychopathic people that run the world, okay, by our obedience, have used something called, sort of introduce a problem and then provide the solution to get a new result, to get a new paradigm. How that has been used, right? September 11th, 2001 is a perfect example of that. The United States government gets 2 planes to crash into 2 buildings and then pushes the button and sets off bombs for those buildings to crash, and then starts a war on terror. Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, these places in the Middle East that have, their oil and they have certain reserves and certain resources are invaded. And the wars that are struck, they don't lead anywhere. They don't go anywhere. It's just billions and billions of dollars going into the production of weapons and, sort of espionage and assassinations and all of this craziness, all of this chaos that comes from the false flag operation, now called 9/11 or September 11th, 2001, whether they were controlling the planes remotely or they had state-sponsored, hijackers actually hijack it, or the pilots themselves, were on the mission. Whatever actually happened, in terms of the planes hitting the buildings, has nothing to do with the buildings falling. So they didn't fall over from being hit at the top. They fell inward from bombs going off. Nor does it have anything to do with Building 7. And it has nothing to do with the trillions of dollars that, up and vanished the day before or 2 days before the attack. But either way, what happened afterwards was they provided a solution. Okay, they introduced the problem and then they provided the solution. We are going to go to war with the people that hate us and kill them back. And then the covert warfare that was going on, we have no idea what exactly happened. It was being reported on, but there was nothing real being reported, even to this day, about like what we actually did in Iraq and Iran and all of these places. What we did in Afghanistan besides, we were fighting the Taliban. Okay, well, going and having a fight somewhere, like what are you doing? Right? So there's covert warfare. And what was the new paradigm? The new paradigm was the TSA, right? People who can strip you down and stick their fingers in your asshole at the airport, because you look suspicious to them, or because you have, too much toothpaste in your travel toothpaste container, as well as mass surveillance, ridiculous levels of surveillance, and the Patriot Act and the NDAA, right? These things, as well as many others, is the new paradigm after 2001, after September 11th. So problem, solution, new paradigm. And after you've taken that into account, take into account what you would do if you were faced with the same tyranny that people of Iran are facing. There's a lot going on, right? In the name of, well, they have more rights than you, right? Since this pedophile is high up in the corporatocracy, they have more rights than you. Since this pedophile is high up in the government, they have more rights than you. Since this abuser and violent criminal is in the police force, they have more rights than you. Okay, that illusion of authority, which, I'll repeat again and again, authority is the father of all religions, is the belief in authority. And the mother of all religions is the belief in money, the belief in the value of money, of this, sort of middleman to resources and labor. So examining what you would do in situations where you're facing direct tyranny. Do you pick up a pistol and go and try to fight an army with AK-47s and missiles and heat vision? No, you don't. You may do something like record yourself dancing without a hijab with your your significant other, in front of a prominent building or landmark. You may do that. Maybe you'll do something else. And really just take a moment to think about what you would do, and then what your response should be, what you would hope for if you were them. Knowing that you're going to be locked away or abused in some sort of way for dancing with your significant other in front of this building, what they imagine should be the response to this, which is what? A call for freedom. A wake-up call to move on from the notion that authority can be vested in man, in another person above myself. That not that the creator of the universe has authority and granted me the same rights as the president or the police or the intelligence officer, but just total insanity in the belief that, well, if this person's the authority figure and they wear the lab coat or they wear the officer's jacket or the badge, or they have the power to sign into law this and that, they have more rights than I do. And I'm not even allowed to question their decisions. A call for freedom, not only for, you know, Iranian women to be able to dance outside, and not necessarily you have to wear a headscarf if they don't subscribe to that tenet of the particular religion, but also freedom for humanity as a whole, to not be subject to the ills that come with the belief in authority. The religion of authority comes with ills. It comes with chaos, abuse, destruction, disruption, all of the things that we do not that do not condone a harmonic coexistence of human beings is what comes with the religion of the belief in authority. Okay, so the response to being jailed for 10 years for dancing in the street should never be, oh, well, they knew the rules. Because I tell you right now, the wives and or daughters of the sickos who rule this world do not follow the rules of any man-made religion. Now, I'm not saying God has not spoken to his people. I'm not saying that if you follow a religion, then you're stupid or anything like that, because I do not believe so. But I am saying that the religion known as Islam, okay, is man-made. So telling the truth involves telling the truth about authority in general, the concept of authority, right? And telling the truth about it means saying out loud to people who don't know it or to people who know it and won't accept it that government is slavery. It's not real, and there's no human being who has more rights than another. Telling the truth about what's going on in Iran is telling the truth about what's going on in humanity. And telling the truth about what's going on in humanity involves telling the truth about how the collective conscience is completely immoral and indifferent to immorality, which is wrong, which is not right, and it's not good, and it produces bad results. Okay, the collective conscience is abusive to human beings and other animals constantly, all day, every day. It's abusive to children and babies via either grooming or abortion or, all of these harmful things that children that are most innocent go through every day all around the world. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what religion it happens under. It happens under all the religions, because the religion itself, okay, was put up as a distraction from what the powers that should not be are actually doing, right? Which is why in the highest authority of the church, the temple, or the mosque, there's always a lot of children being abused. Because those who are at the very, very top, they know the history of how exactly men like Constantine and others created religion and created the father and mother of all religions, which is the The mother is the belief in money, and the father, the belief in authority, the belief in authority of man. Now, I'm not saying that we should all be up in arms, crying out for this couple, this Iranian couple, and sort of lose our cool in response to this story. In fact, this video is not really about this story at all anyway. This video is about the harsh reality, okay? The hard to accept reality, the hard to swallow pill that when swallowed challenges one's life, okay? When you swallow the pill, the hard to swallow pill, that government is slavery and that there's no human beings that have more rights than other human beings just because of a lab coat or, some sort of title by their name, representative, ambassador, doctor. There's nobody that has more right. And I'm not talking about expertise. Expertise is very useful and obviously needed for technology, medicine, tools, whatever, right? Building a society. I'm not talking about expertise. I'm talking about authority, right? And really, I'm talking about moral authority, right? How we've created a world where, because people wear lab coats and are called doctors, they are able to go into a country in Africa or run experiments right here in the United States where millions of people either perish or suffer for the rest of their lives and nothing is done about it. Why is that? Oh, because it was the authorities that made the mistake. If I made that mistake and millions of people died or are suffering now for the rest of their life, I would be thrown under the jail. But because the authorities made the mistake, because the authorities did the thing, whatever the thing is, they are off the hook. Okay, this is the world that we find ourselves in right now. And this video is about acknowledging the fact that I have been duped into believing that what is right is what the authorities say is right, and what is wrong is what the authorities say is wrong, and that there is such thing as moral authority of other human beings over myself. That's what this video is truly about. Now, in this video, I'm not going to go in depth into what's really the difference between right and wrong and what a right is, a right that you have, my rights, a violation of human rights and things. I'm not going to espouse exactly what those things are. Largely, they're common sense anyway, but they do require some explanation in depth, and that would make this video much too long. Comment below if you're looking forward to that video, my take on right and wrong. But this is probably, going to be a central point of this podcast, at least of my solo videos, not the interviews, for, a long time until this work is done where the collective of humanity understands this truth. We are so deeply ingrained with lies, especially lies around morality, that it's necessary to tell the truth from a million different angles until we get it. And I encourage you to do the same, which is the purpose of #TellTheTruth. So if you are ready to face the fact that you yourself was duped, and you believed in these things, and you also participated in the spreading of false mindsets and harmful mindsets, that you did that, right? And if you're ready to stop doing that and to break that curse and to spread the message, God's real message, which is of freedom and love and truth, okay, to the world, then join me in hashtag, tell the truth, and start spreading the truth. Start reading, start analyzing, and start reporting. Tell everyone in your family the truth. Tell everyone in your following the truth, and tell everyone you meet the truth about something. Okay, and until the collective conscience, until a certain percentage, okay, this is what natural law dictates, until a certain percentage of humanity itself is ready to live in a different paradigm where we have removed the false message of authority and money and replaced that with truth, love, human dignity, harmony, and all things good. Until that happens, these types of events where people are jailed anywhere in the world, it matters. Okay, it's not a US or it's not a Christian country versus Islamic country. It's not any of that bullshit. All right? Where people are jailed for 10 years for dancing in the street without a hijab, will continue to happen and will continue to get worse until a certain percentage, a large percentage of the aggregate or collective conscious of humanity, regardless of borderline, is on the same page in regard to morality, authority, resources, hunger, money, the treatment of animals, all of that. Until we morally get free from the bullshit, we will not see improvements in how government operates, how the elite treat people. None of that will improve one iota until the collective, every individual, is on board. So get on board. It is time to take your life back and become your own breakthrough. My name is Soul Expression. This is the Expression of Love podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment below anything that you want me to explain further or argue against, or anything that you want to argue against throughout the video, as well as anything that you'd like to just repeat and support. Like and subscribe if you have not already had the chance, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.
Expressions of